Hello, everyone. It's Joel from Geek Studios, and this is your weekly mini charge episode. As always, we hope everyone is having a great week and enjoying this fantastic spring weather. Now, let's get into our topic, which is about Toyota. For the last 5 years, if you followed the EV world, Toyota was basically the villain of the story, right? While Tesla was hitting 1.8 million sales and BYD was taking over China and most of Europe, Toyota was the guy at the party still talking about how great his VHS player works. And for those of you who are super young, that's actually like a little video you put into a little machine to watch movies. They were the hybrid kings who didn't seem to want to join the pure electric revolution party. But it's March 2026 now, and the landscape has shifted. The multi-pathway strategy that Akio Toyota was mocked for, well, it's starting to look a lot more like a masterstroke than a mistake. Today, we are doing a deep dive into the $17 billion investment spree, the solid-state batteries that are finally actually landing, and the cars that are going to be sitting in your driveway by next Christmas. We're covering the Kentucky strategy, the North Carolina mega site, and why the 2026 BZX, or whatever they decided to call it, is finally a car you might actually want to buy. Let's dive in. All right, so let's get started. And first, we're going to talk about money. In the automotive world, press releases are cheap, but retooling a factory is a multi-billion-dollar statement of intent. As of early 2026, Toyota's cumulative investment in U.S. electrification has officially crossed the $18 billion mark. And we're going to chat about two places. And the first one is about Georgetown, Kentucky. This is Toyota's largest vehicle manufacturing plant in the world, and it's currently celebrating its 40th anniversary. Yay, happy anniversary. Just this month, Toyota injected another $800 million into this facility. That brings their recent electrification spending in Kentucky alone to $2.1 billion. But here's the interesting part. They aren't just building one EV there. They are prepping the lines for a second battery electric model, alongside the highly anticipated three-row SUV. While the world awaits for the electric Highlander, the Kentucky plant is also ramping up capacity for the Camry and RAV4 hybrids. Why hybrids? Because Toyota's multi-pathway approach recognizes that while people want EVs, they are buying hybrids in record numbers. With nearly 10,000 employees on site, Georgetown is essentially becoming the heartbeat of the American hybrid and EV transition. Now let's move our eyes and travel to the east, to Liberty, North Carolina. This is Toyota's battery manufacturing North Carolina, TBMNC site. And the scale of it is staggering. We are talking about 13.9 billion megasite spanning over 1,800 acres. This isn't just a warehouse. It's a technology fortress with 14 production lines. 4 lines are dedicated specifically to hybrid electric vehicles, HEVs. 10 lines, let me say that again, 10 lines are reserved for battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid batteries. Now, this all has an economic ripple effect, because it's not just about cars, it's about community moats. Toyota is planning the long game by investing in the local workforce. They've launched Driving Possibilities, an $11 million STEM education initiative in Kentucky, and a similar $1 million program in North Carolina. They aren't just building factories, they are literally training the middle schoolers and high schoolers who will be the engineers for their next generation of solid-state EVs in 2035. When you see a $13.9 billion investment in a single state, That isn't a pivot. That is a total structural transformation of a 70-year-old company. Now, let's get nerdy for a second. Why should you care about a Toyota EV when you can just buy a Tesla Model Y? The answer is the holy grail of batteries, which are solid state. For years, the joke was that solid state batteries were always 5 years away. Well, we are now in that 5-year window. Toyota officially got the green light from the Japanese government for mass production late last year. What are the specs? We're looking at a 10-minute charge time. Imagine pulling into a rest stop, grabbing a coffee, and by the time you walk back to the car, you have 600 miles of range. That is the Tesla killer metric. It removes range anxiety and charging boredom in one fell swoop. But, and this is a big but, those are going to be very, very, very expensive. They will be in the high-end Lexus models first, looking at probably over a price tag of about $120,000. Now, what about the rest of us? Toyota is rolling out what they call the popularization battery this year. It uses bipolar lithium iron phosphate, LFP, technology. It's 40% cheaper to produce than the batteries sold in the BZX. It offers 20% more range and is more durable. This is how Toyota plans to win. They aren't trying to make the coolest cars. They're trying to make the most rational cars. And that's what Toyota has always done. An EV that lasts 200,000 miles without the battery degrading. That is the Toyota brand promise. And they spent the last 3 years in the lab making sure they don't break that promise. So you walk into a Toyota dealership today in March 2026, what's on the floor? It's not just one electric crossover anymore. The lineup has exploded. First, the 2026 Toyota BZ. This is interesting because they dropped the 4 in the X. It's now just BZ. It's been replaced and rebranded as simply Toyota BZ. They listened to every complaint, and we had several of them on the podcast. 1, performance. The all-wheel drive model has jumped from a sluggish 214 horsepower to a staggering 338 horsepower, and now hits 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. They also have come out with the Woodland Edition. This is the one everyone is talking about. It's an adventure-focused trim with 8.4 inches of ground clearance, all-terrain tires, and a 3,500-pound towing capacity. It's the electric Outback that people have been waiting for. Charging? Well, it finally has a native NACS port. Yay. Everyone should have native NACS ports now. You can pull up to a Tesla supercharger, plug in, and the plug-in charge tech handles the payment automatically through your Toyota app. What else do they have coming down the line? Well, the 2026 Toyota CHR Electric. Now, this is the fun one. It's a subcompact SUV with that sharp, aggressive styling. It's packing the same 338 horsepower motor as the bigger BZ, but in a smaller frame. It's designed for the city. Tight turning radius, 290 miles of range, and a price tag starting around $37,000. It's Toyota's direct shot at the Volvo EX30, which was announced last week will no longer be sold in the US. So technically, Toyota has no competition at this level. Also, you have the Lexus ES Electric. Over on the Lexus side of the house, the best-selling ES sedan is now available as a battery electric vehicle. The ES 500e is the flagship featuring clean tech X elegance design language. It looks like a smoother, more aerodynamic version of the gas car with a range of about 300 miles. It's incredibly quiet, even for a Lexus, thanks to its new active noise canceling floor panel that uses the EV's audio system to drown out road noise. That's interesting. And of course, you have the big one that's coming later this year, and that's the 3-row production of the electric Highlander, which will be built in Kentucky. This will be the first U.S. assembled Toyota EV. It's huge. It has the popularization battery for a lower entry point, and it is meant to take on the Kia EV9. If you're a family of 5 waiting for an EV that doesn't cost you around $90,000, this might just be your car. All right, to wrap things up, was Toyota late to the game? Yes. Did they miss the first wave of EV hype? Absolutely. But as we look at the markets in 2026, the hype has died down and utility has taken over. People want EVs that don't lose 30% of their range in the winter and don't take an hour to charge. Toyota's multi-pathway approach, selling you a hybrid today, a plug-in hybrid tomorrow, and a solid-state EV the day after, is proving to be very grounded strategy. They don't bet on a Silicon Valley future. They bet on a global future. The $17 billion is spent. The factories are humming. The batteries are real. The giant isn't just awake, it's hungry. All right, that's your mini charge episode for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and consider becoming a paid member. Just $5 a month, and you get early access to all of our content while supporting our channel. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, tap that follow button and leave us a quick rating and comment. It really helps the show grow. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, stay charged and stay geeky.